Coming up on this week's podcast, we talk a little Mobile World Congress, then we look into the Apple versus FBI fight, and a little pricing game to close the night. That's all on this week's podcast. Let's go.
Bandwidth Boys Podcast.
Hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet.
We talk about stuff, tech stuff.
Welcome into another episode of Bandwidth Boys Podcast. I'm Matt.
And I am Connolly, and I love me some Adele. So I have to do it. Hello. Hello, Matt.
Hello.
How are you?
It feels like it's been a while, but I don't think it has.
No, it's only been a day. I'm back on Snapchat. Life's good, though.
What made you come back?
I actually remember my password.
Oh.
It was in the good old LastPass directory. So I was going through it the other day, cleaning it out, and there, lo and behold, it said Snapchat. So
Have you been using it a lot?
I have been. Weird. I don't know. We'll talk about it later. But let's get into the news.
What's going on in tech world?
The largest...
Go ahead. You started.
No,
you might as well.
You can have it.
I jumped all over your script.
You're good. Go ahead.
The largest phone conference is hitting Barcelona once again. Starting Monday, Mobile World Congress 2016 kicks off. It built itself as the European showcase for smartphones, tablets, hybrid laptops, internet services, and a whole lot more. Last year, we saw huge announcements. For example, the One M9. How's that going? Huh? Not so well. And the Galaxy S6. So we can expect more flagship announcements from the usual suspects, HTC, LG, and of course Samsung. Who's off that list? That's right, Apple. They do their own thing.
That's because they're too cool to go to these other ones.
Samsung is expected to reveal the GS7 and the GS7 Edge. We'll do a deep dive next week of the Mobile World Congress on next week's podcast.
I think it's pronounced Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
Ay, 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 ay.
That hurt my ears.
La Bamba.
Speaking of Mobile World Congress 2016, products are already making their debuts before the show kicks off on Monday.
That's tomorrow.
When you hear cat,
Cat.
I almost said CAT.
You know why? Matt hasn't read these stories before. It's like he's reading it for the first time.
My order is all wrong. I thought the ones I was going to read wasn't the ones I read. When you hear cat, you usually think giant trucks
Meow.
or giant tractors, but this week cat made its name with a built-in thermal camera. Whoa. The company admits the camera is for a very niche market, but has wide implications about what a smartphone can do. The new thermal cameras could allow firefighters to look into a burning building to see if there's any people or animals inside. It could help construction workers identify weaknesses in the insulation install. No word on when this new phone will be released.
2016 is already VR happy, and today HTC entered the emerging market. This week they announced their VR headset, the Vive, which will be released around April for a whopping, get this, Matt, $799.
Call it.
Yep, that's correct. If you're doing the math, that's $200 more than Facebook's Oculus Rift. Ed Barton from Informa says, quote, "It's going to be a very difficult to make a judgment as to whether the Vive is worth the extra $200 until we see the range of games it'll be launching with," close quote. HTC says their headset, though, will come with 2 controllers and 2 games.
360-degree videos are now a thing of the present. Samsung took the
See what I did there, thing of the present?
I see what you did
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Just saying.
Samsung took the wraps off the Gear 360, which boasts itself as a 360-degree video camera that shoots 3840 by 1920 video at 30 frames per second, producing MP4s or JPEGs.
Top quality there.
The idea of the Gear 360 is to allow anyone to create video for Samsung's VR headset, Gear VR. The Gear 360 will be able to sync with your Samsung Galaxy S7, giving you a live viewfinder. No exact price yet, but we could assume we'll see it become available in some countries around April.
And finally, last story and the biggest story of the week, the Apple and FBI saga continues. Apple has been granted an extension in giving FBI an answer as to whether they will create a backdoor for them. A judge has extended that decision to February 26th. That's this Friday, according to tech website TechCrunch. Earlier this week, we learned the FBI has asked Apple to do 3 things with their iOS platform to allow law enforcement to better access iPhones. One thing that they've asked is to disable or bypass the auto erase function of iOS that erases your phone if too many wrong passwords are input. 2, remove the delay on password input so that the FBI can guess the iPhone's passcode without having to wait. And 3rd, the most controversial, allow submission of passcodes via wireless protocol like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or the physical port on the device. Again, it has been pushed back to February 26th. And that's a wrap on what's going on.
Tech World. See, I was paying attention there.
You were. See? Nice work.
I was ready.
So we know that this week is going to be the Mobile World Congress in 2016. And instead of kind of doing what we did with CES and did 2 weeks of it, we figured we push it to next week because I think the bigger talk here is encryption in Apple and FBI. So it's kind of what we're going to tackle this week, and then we'll do all the mobile stuff next week when Greg returns. And if you have been listening, you've been noticing that Greg's voice is missing. He is the PA guy at a basketball tournament right now, dying because he's been there from like 9 a.m. and it's still going. It's 8 p.m. on the West Coast. So that's 11 hours of talking. But
I
so
couldn't talk for 11 hours.
well, not sure about that, but so Matt and myself will try and take you down the road of tech. But there's a quick look at what's going on in tech world. But like I said, we're going to dive into the big tech talk from everyone's talking about it: Apple versus FBI. I never know what those last 3 words are.
No,
but,
they just make noises.
yeah. So like we said at the end of the top stories this week, the FBI has gone to Apple. This is after the San Bernardino shootings. They're using this as the case to go towards Apple. I mean, I assume they've done this before with Apple, but it's kind of made a big deal because early this week, Tim Cook wrote an open letter, posted it online to their customers to really bring this to light. And so what the FBI has gone to Apple to do is 3 different things like we talked about. 1, to disable the auto erase function that what iOS did that roll out with? Was it iOS 2 2 big updates ago?
Yeah, so
It's kind of a newer function, right? So what's happened with iOS is when iOS first came out, it wasn't as secure as some customers wanted, and throughout the years, security and encryption has gotten a lot better. And so these are new functions that Apple has created, and if you trust the Apple and what they say, even they, once your data is there and encrypted, even they can't get into it.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of where we are now. So the FBI has asked 1 to erase the to get rid of or bypass, I guess, the auto erase function. If you input the passcode too many times, it'll auto erase it for you. 2, bypass the delay, you have to wait to guess the passcodes. And then 3, which is the most controversial one, to in a nutshell, add a backdoor into someone's iPhone if you have these special passcodes to enter.
And I think it's important to point out that these aren't just settings that Apple
Right.
can toggle.
Right.
The FBI is asking Apple to write a new iOS just for them. I think that's a very important thing here.
Well, I don't think they're saying we want a new iOS for us. Essentially, we just
Well,
say
they are.
when you want to roll out this new iOS, we want these features built into it. We know there's going to be a new iOS coming up.
Yeah, but for this specific case, they're not asking Apple to go to their current iOS. This isn't something that Apple can just immediately flip a switch and
Right.
give the FBI what they want.
Right.
Apple would have to start from the ground
Right.
and rewrite and get rid of basically all the security things they've been working for up until this point.
Concurred. Agreed.
Exactly.
So you're better. I mean, you've been talking about the story for a month or so, a month and a half about encryption and whatnot, and Greg and I just roll our eyes at you like, oh, here he goes again on his soapbox. But it's come to light now. I mean, it's out in the public and it's now mainstream. So what do you think? I mean, where are we with this whole discussion?
I think there's two ways this can go. No, not necessarily go, but I see this happening 2 ways. The first way is that the FBI and the NSA are currently already able to do exactly what they want.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to expose it, and they see this as an opportunity to set some dangerous precedent for the future on encryption. Option 2 is they really can't. They're really a lot less advanced than people thought, and they're actually going to this private company to help them out. Either way is kind of dumb. But my guess is it's truly the second.
That they have no idea how to get past
They
it.
have no clue how to do
Yeah.
this.
Um,
But something else to note, which I don't think that we said in the story, is that it came to light, I think 2 days ago, Thursday or Friday morning, maybe, that a senior Apple executive said basically that there were ways to do this prior to this. What happened though?
prior to the new encryption?
No, prior to this whole FBI case.
Oh.
Apple figured out that someone at the FBI had informed the was it the health whatever San Bernardino County Department it was who owned the phone, because it was a county issued phone. They had actually, after this happened, they went in and changed the iCloud password like immediately after this happened, because they thought that it would help them gain access to the backup. Well, in actuality, if they wouldn't have done that, and something that Apple had suggested the FBI do but was unsuccessful, was if they wouldn't have changed the iCloud password, they could have just moved the phone to somewhere that a Wi-Fi network was known to the phone, and the phone would have done a backup, and then they could pull the iCloud backup and hand that over, which is something they've done before. They're more than willing to do, and I have no problem with doing, because that's a legal thing, and it wouldn't require them to break any type of encryption. It's data on their servers. They should turn it over. But because the Apple advised this county to do something dumb, Apple's basically saying, well, this isn't our fault. You did this to yourselves.
So let me take the opposite and ask you a question. If you're on the outside looking at this story, and you have you're the county, right? Like you said, the county owns the phone. The county has given permission to the FBI to go get whatever data on the phone that they can. So they signed over that part of it, right? So now the FBI legally can get data off the phone, if they can get in or whatnot, right? So in theory, what the FBI is telling us, and whether you believe in the government and the FBI or not, it is what it is. But they say that on this phone, it could contain important national security and important information against the fight against ISIS, because one of the shooters who was in this shooting was a proclaimed ISIS supporter. And so from the outside looking into this whole thing, not involved in the tech world or not, what would you tell people who are saying, well, doesn't it make sense to help the government fight America's biggest enemy?
Not at the cost of what it would be in order to do this, because this idea is passed around in the government. I think that Apple could create this iOS version and could go around these security measures just one time for this one phone, and that would be it. But in all reality, that's impossible. Once you create the tool, once you create the technology, once you create the foundation and the technique of how to get around this, every iOS device becomes vulnerable for everyone. And in this instance, the FBI, I think, said, hey, you can even have the device at Apple and we won't even see it. But once the existence of this software is known, I see nothing stopping the government in the future just calling upon this frequently.
I mean, every phone, like every provider, Google, Apple, any kind of major OS, those are the two big ones, right? Are looking closely at the decision that Apple is deciding to stand up against the government. But don't you think if the government wants the data that's on these phones that'll help fight terrorism in general, shouldn't they be entitled to it?
They should be entitled to the information and the data, but they should not sacrifice encryption in order to get to it. And in all actuality, there are other ways
to get encrypted data.
Yeah.
But Apple says it can't get the data. So if Apple can't get the data, how can anyone else get the data?
Apple can't get this data. That doesn't mean that there isn't data elsewhere. Or
on various servers that aren't Apple?
No, at the other end of whatever this data would be. If it's a communication, the data's at the other end too. And
on another iPhone, so then it would be encrypted on that end too.
Well, theoretically, But I think people don't quite understand, and they lose sight of just where encryption falls in your life.
Mhm.
You think about everything you touch daily that's a computer, there's some type of encryption on it. Your money is protected by encryption. Your power grid is protected by encryption. Your water systems are protected by encryption. And once you render that encryption useless, then the encryption means nothing. And everyone becomes vulnerable at the cost of this one cell phone that may or may not have important data on it.
Right. Do you believe that Apple it's trying to protect more than what they're saying to you? Or do you think they're trying to protect their interests in foreign markets where it's really a big deal, right? In China and in Russia and all those governments are trying to fight back against this encryption thing. And do you think this is a part of Apple's strategy to say in the US we held strong and we're gonna, keep our users safe and here's what China and Russia is gonna have to deal with?
Yeah, and I think ultimately, though, Apple, I'm sure that they're trying to stand up for the better good in the public, but I think they're also trying to protect their own bottom line. And that a big selling point for many people, and I think especially in the enterprise world, in the enterprise sector that they're trying to grow, which historically has been difficult for them because enterprise and corporate has been dominated by Microsoft products. I think that one of their huge selling points has always been security and how secure their products are. And looking in this case, exactly how secure this phone is. And if you have important data on there, it's truly safe no matter who gets a hold of your product or gets a hold of your phone. So I think Apple is really trying to also protect their bottom line and their selling point that their stuff is secure and they're not going to take any chances to make other people's things vulnerable.
So even though you think that the fight against terrorism is a real thing, you just don't think that creating this backdoor that could potentially help terrorism to fight terrorism is the right step to take?
No. I think that although you may solve this small problem, you will just create newer and bigger problems once you weaken encryption everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's speaking to the larger picture, and I know people are probably going to hate me for this idea, is that I think from ISIS's standpoint in this situation, attacking a few people and killing a few people is great. But if you can get an entire country and an entire government to change the way they do things out of fear, I think that's a much bigger win in their eyes.
That's an interesting way to take that discussion, because you're saying the fight right now is encryption and being able to, keep people safe, bank accounts, money, all that stuff safe. But if the government and the FBI were really to get their way and to create this backdoor for just this one, quote unquote, just this one incident, right, or one phone, you say that's a win for terrorists because then they'll be able to get this software to then get into the back doors of millions of people and really do some damage.
Exactly. And they would get a country to do something purely out of fear. And it's also concerning when I see, making this a little bit political, some candidates, Donald Trump saying boycott Apple.
What's wrong with Donald? You're fired.
Generally, Donald is okay. But this one, because he says great things that are widely accepted.
And some things that aren't widely accepted. So there you go. To each your own, I guess.
He's called for a boycott of Apple.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton has called for a Manhattan-like agency or Manhattan Project-like agency or department whose job it would be to crack encryption.
God bless America.
Which I don't understand, because the encryption that's used on this phone is the same encryption that the government uses on government secrets.
Maybe we should have the team that created her email account take on encryption.
Because that was pretty secure, wasn't it? That didn't cause
all right, that was a jab. Anyways.
But it's so concerning, the lack of understanding of these decisions that our decision makers are responsible for making.
They don't get it.
And they just can't see any further than the one situation they're in.
Right. Maybe they should listen to our podcast, because what you brought up was real. I mean, I didn't even think of it that way, where, they could kill one or two, but that one or two will lead to this giant scare of the U.S. government, and then we we create this back door that they could get into, because I mean the terrorists are smart, right? There's no way around it. They're smart for what they do or whatnot, but they could then take that back door and do whatever the heck they want.
Yeah, there's far too much.
So what's Apple's next step? What's Apple's thing here? I mean, come Friday they have to say something, right? Come Friday they have to say, all right, I'm either gonna give it to you or I'm gonna keep fighting in court. So what's their deal? You think it's gonna go all the way to the top?
I have no doubt that this case will go all the way to the Supreme Court. I don't know if I said that sentence right. This case will go to the Supreme Court.
Right. All the way to the top, to the
Exactly.
Supreme Court, right.
And it will be pivotal, and it will set precedent either way. I hope it goes the right way, but it will be huge either way.
Because, I mean, if Apple loses this, right, then Google loses too, and Facebook loses too, and Amazon loses too. All these tech companies who use types of encryption, Microsoft, they all lose. They all have to create backdoors to their servers for the government to be able to get into. Whether you agree that's right or wrong, that's gonna happen, right? Like all your data is going to be able to be, if you believe that right now the government doesn't have access to all your data, after this pivotal decision by the Supreme Court, if it goes that high, will have to be created. Am I wrong in that?
Exactly.
In that sentence?
Yeah. And speaking to Google,
wait, I'm wrong?
No, you're right.
Oh, okay.
But speaking to Google real quick, I was a bit underwhelmed by their statement. Were you sad? Did you feel like he was truly behind Apple, or did you feel like he just kind of wanted to say he saw it?
Right.
But
I think Google is playing the game of, let me just stand at the table. Let me just let Apple take all these hits. Let Apple take all the money hits that they have to use for lawyers, and let them fight this. And, I'll quietly say that I support them and I'll be behind them, but this is their fight, and we'll deal with it when it gets to us. But right now, the spotlight's on Apple. Let me just keep it there.
Yeah, it was a bit sad. It was a lot sad, because I get Apple and Google are competitors in the smartphone market, well, in the mobile,
right?
But at the end of the day, they're in the same market.
They're all right.
And if one loses, everyone loses. So you think that they would kind of look past their differences and at least stand up to protect their industry. But I guess not.
It's all about the bottom line, like you said. I don't know. I mean, I wonder how fast it's going to go. Because right now it's news, right? But if it takes 7 months, 8 months, it's still going to be news then?
I hope so.
I don't know.
But probably not.
Right? It'll probably end up in the archive of a website, and no one's really going to pay attention until that decision is made. And thanks to you, Matt, though. Matt will bring it up once in a while.
Every week,
Matt will keep it alive on our podcast. But don't you think? I mean, it's the way Americans do news. They say, what's going on today? All right, that's no longer important. I'm moving on.
Yeah. And it's worrying, because this is truly, we have a lot of tech stories that are important but truly don't affect everyone on a daily basis.
Yeah, like the 360 video camera we did today. Doesn't matter. I don't care.
And I wrote it.
Right? But this one matters.
Yeah, and because everyone has a smartphone in their pocket, and everyone has a computer, and everyone has things that are relying on encryption. And truly, it would impact your daily life. So I hope people care.
I hope they do too. But maybe it's too hard for them to care. Maybe people trust the government. I mean, I trust the government to a certain point, right? But maybe people trust the government so much that when they say they're only going to use it for this one case, the people are saying, yeah, why don't you create it for this one case? But like you said earlier, it's not just for this one case. Once it's out there, once the back door is developed, people will exploit it.
Exactly.
There's no way around it. People will exploit it.
And I have no doubt that if Apple is forced to create this, overnight they will become the biggest cyber target in the world. And people will not stop going after them until they're able to steal this from them.
I mean, it's why they've made getting into iPhones and iPads that much tougher, because it's that important to them, and it's that important to their to keep them as safe as possible. I mean, you pick up an iPhone, you pick up a Mac, you pick up any Apple product, you're pretty comfortable in saying 99% of the things that I venture to, I won't get a virus.
Mhm.
I won't do it because people love the community. They're not creating viruses for the platform. And it's hard to do it. I mean, they control from hardware to software, they control everything. And so from that standpoint, Apple's the safest. They create this one back door and they become just another Microsoft,
Exactly. Oh, Microsoft.
giving patch updates every Tuesday. All right. Well, we'll follow the story here on the Bandwidth Boys podcast. And when I say we, I mean Matt. But really, I think the takeaway is this is important. Whether you're a tech lover or just a casual tech user, this decision, either way it goes, is going to impact the way you use tech and the way this country uses tech against how it fights against terrorism.
Exactly. So you should.
What's on Matt's mind?
So I have a comment that's going to stir some controversy with this one over to my side.
Me, I would never stir up controversy.
Last week, Canon announced and revealed their EOS ADD, which is a predecessor. Predecessor is after, right?
No, predecessor is
What's
pre.
before? What's after?
Pre. It's I don't know, better model. I don't know. Successor.
Successor to the 70D, which was released in 2013.
Wow, it took him 3 years to update a camera.
Really
I guess
nice.
because it was so good.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
And they have a lot of lines, so usually it'll stagger. So one line every year they update something, but it's not the same line. They don't want to dilute their market.
God forbid we do that.
Anyway, it has some awesome new features, including a Digic 6 image processor
Oh God, sign me up.
with a 45-point autofocus system.
Oh boy,
But what I thought was the coolest, and now I can't see what it was called,
exactly.
so this is really awkward. So I'll explain it. It's a unit that goes under the camera and sits under the lens, and then lets you use the lens as a power zoom.
So for people who don't know what power zoom is, what does that mean?
So it's like you can hit a button to zoom in or out rather than having to manually crank the lens, because manually cranking the lens is usually very not smooth. It doesn't look
So
very
for if you never owned a video camera, which wouldn't surprise me nowadays.
yeah, you have a phone.
If people, right, you have a phone and whatnot. But people have the idea of if you have a handheld camera, there's a little, even on old digital cameras types, there's a button that says W and T, wide and tight. And as you push that button, your zoom or your lens increases focal length, which gets closer to the object, or decreases. And on video cameras, you can toggle that button depending on how fast or slow and smooth you want that zoom. That's what a good video camera allows you to do. And with this new ADD, the Canon ADD, they now have that feature.
Well, with an added accessory.
With an added, of course, everything's an added accessory.
For $149, which I thought was very reasonable. But anyway, bigger picture, I thought that this was very cool because I think it really shows that these camera manufacturers, what are you going to hit? A boo?
Nothing. I'm not going to hit anything.
You're about to hit the
I
boo.
wasn't going to hit anything. I'm listening to your Matt's mind.
That camera manufacturers,
Love camera manufacturers. They've come a long way.
they're starting to see that their products fit into a real video world.
Agreed.
And I think that DSLRs
And here's where Matt's going to go off the cliff.
are the future of television and
That's just dumb.
in Hollywood. And I'm confident in that. Let me just throw out a few titles who have used DSLRs
No, okay, go ahead.
in their movies. The
Go ahead.
Avengers.
Okay. Fully DSLR. Everything shot
No.
on that film. Okay, well,
But they've
keep going.
They used a
You're helping your case.
They used a 5D and a 70. A 70 isn't even a pro line camera.
Okay.
End of watch. Did
Keep
you ever
going.
see that?
No.
Okay. I'm trying to find a movie.
Yep. See, no one.
The TV show Wilfred.
Nope.
Dexter.
Yes, I've seen Dexter.
House. The season 6
Oh,
finale.
I've seen House.
Did you know the season 6 finale was filmed
Just one
exclusively?
episode.
Well, it's
Why was it just one episode?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Act of Valor.
Nope.
Born Legacy.
Nope.
Anyway, the list goes on and on. Thor.
Nope.
Jiro
Nothing.
Dreams of Sushi.
No. Oh, I saw that one.
Yeah.
That's documentary though. That's not film and TV.
I think that the way that these cameras are going, why don't you think that this will be the future of television and Hollywood?
Because I don't think it's the future. I think it's the present.
What will the future be? Big cameras?
Mhm.
Why do we need big cameras?
Because they make you feel better.
Okay, well,
I mean, look at the film industry now, right? We thought film was dead. We thought film was out the door. We thought no one wanted film, and now film's making a comeback. There are some movies that are now being shot on film because they like the look. So to call the industry of video cameras dead because of DSLR technology like this, I don't quite agree with.
Okay.
Nor do I think it's the future. I think DSLR is the present and it's what's being used, but I don't think it's the future.
You think film will be around forever?
Yep.
Just because of the look?
Mm-hmm.
What if
I don't like film, but people do.
What if they can mimic the look on?
They
digital?
can't. They've never been able to.
Yet.
They've never been able to.
Yet.
You can say yet all you want. Film lovers who create film and really big artistes are never going to say that digital looks identical like film. If I were to look at it side by side, I could not tell the difference. But these film people can tell the difference. And so you'll have these hardcore people who will still shoot with big cameras, who will still shoot with film in TV and films, and they won't jump on the DSLR bandwagon.
Do you think, and this is kind of getting off topic, but I'm going to throw it out there, cameras like Red, is that the future of Hollywood?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those aren't film.
I didn't say they were film.
Do you think that will reduce the cost in Hollywood?
That's not a DSLR, though.
Or do you think they'll just find more ways to make Hollywood more expensive in other ways?
Oh, they'll find ways to make Hollywood more expensive other ways. The Red's not a DSLR, though.
I know. But I'm just saying.
So why are you comparing
all
that?
Right, DSLR.
The world of Reds and REs are the way that the film industry and high-end TV shows are going to go.
DSLRs.
There's no way around it.
DSLR-like cameras.
Oh, now we're adding a like. You said DSLR cameras.
DSLR-like cameras.
Oh, now we're adding
like your Reds.
Now we're adding
your Aries.
Yeah.
And even your Black Magics.
Exactly.
Because they have a cool one.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Okay.
You're going to see them more and more on TV sets. And as they get better with lenses, with making the moves easier so you don't have to have a second camera person around, I think you'll see them more and more and more. But I don't think traditional film cameras and big giant XD cam type cameras are going to die. There's a place for those.
Nope. No place.
Run and gun type of shows, reality shows, love those that you can just put on your shoulder mount and just go and shoot.
You can do that with a DSLR.
No, you can't.
You can use your wonderful Tascam DR60.
Yeah, that's working out so well. Right,
No.
but I mean, there's so many accessories that all these DSLR or DSLR-like, whatever you want to call them, right? You have to add to it. You have to add a monitor with a little funky arm hanging out. You have to add a focus follow type accessory. All these things you have to add to make it look cool.
Okay,
But with these shoulder mount cameras, boom, put it on there. You got a big lens, you got the zoom, you got the iris, everything's right there. The audio's on it. Get up and go.
All right, my prediction, by the year 2018, DSLRs will overtake the television market.
DSLRs or just DSLR-like?
DSLRs
All right.
will be all that's used to make television.
2017?
2018.
Oh, I thought I heard 2017.
It's 2018.
2018. DSLRs, not DSLR-likes, but DSLRs.
DSLRs.
All right.
On Matt's mind.
That's a bold prediction there, my friend.
It's
I don't think you're going to get there, but
I have the utmost confidence in myself.
I guess we should. Never mind.
What?
No, I mean, you should define what. I mean, by 2018, the definition of TV is going to be completely different than it is now, right? I mean, if you were to take all the videos online, all of them, upload to YouTube, I would say 5% of that is shot on a video camera.
Of YouTube?
Yeah.
No, I put that number closer to 50.
50% is shot on a video camera.
Yes.
Not DSLR camera.
Oh, are we saying video camera?
Yes, that's all.
A video camera as in what? Is your
Video camera as in shoulder mount cameras, as in Canon prosumer type video cameras.
2.5%.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
How much of the videos on YouTube are DSLRs?
50.
And then what's the rest?
Cell phones.
Or
Webcams.
webcams.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that webcam. Well, I'd say a webcam's a video camera.
You can't say a webcam is a video cam. That's just stupid. I mean, I used to think you were smart, but not after that.
It's designed for video.
Baby got back.
Do you have something good today, or is it another stupid clock? And tell me when I'm gonna die.
That was a good one. You didn't like the clock?
No, am I supposed to play a video?
Oh no, I'll do it. All right. So I don't know if this is your cup of tea.
Is it about tea?
No, but that would have been a good segue there. This one's about robotics.
Okay.
Robots teaching your kids to code.
What is with you and the freaking robots?
Well, it's all that's up there now on Kickstarter and Indiegogo is this robot revolution. So this is a product called the CamiBot, I think. Cambot, Cami some. I don't know. It's an Asian market product, and it is on Kickstarter, and it is a robot with a papercraft that allows kids to code.
Advanced robots are redefining modern warfare, changing the rules for sporting competitions, and going places no human would dare. They can camouflage themselves using intricate papercraft disguises. They're becoming faster and more agile than their human peers, and they're being programmed by 5th graders.
I did that. Programming is an important skill for kids to learn, but unless we make it fun, kids are never going to stick with it. CamiBot reimagines programming education as something fun and affordable. We're constantly expanding the collection of papercraft characters that you can download and print from our website. You can even use skins, which you have created for yourselves.
CamiBot is based on open source Arduino technology that's easy for kids to program using a computer. While CamiBot is fully controllable with a phone or tablet, it also includes IR sensors that let it follow a black line on the ground, as well as programmable ultrasonic sensors which help it avoid obstacles. DC motors on both wheels let it turn easily, and a servo motor on top allows you to turn the head of your papercraft characters. Color-changing LEDs? Those are just for fun.
We've been perfecting CamiBot for over a year now, and over the last few months, we've been testing our final prototype with kids in Korea. In our experience, kids love playing with CamiBot, and parents love that their kids are gaining useful programming skills and boosting creativity while they play. So we're turning to you to help get CamiBot into homes and classrooms all around the world. If you believe, like we do, that programming should be fun, we'd be honored for you to join us by contributing to our campaign. I got you.
I got you. So the CamiBot, is on Kickstarter.
I don't have kids.
I know,
Oh,
but just think. What are your initial thoughts about it?
it's cool.
Yeah, so it's cool. So for those of you who are listening to the podcast, this CamiBot is kind of a little round white thing with wheels and a swivelable head.
It's like a hockey puck on wheels.
Thank you. Hockey puck on wheels, and it's got a brain to it.
Exactly.
And so this company allows you to go onto their website and download different paper skins that your hopefully kid, can cut out and put it around this white puck, so it no longer looks like a white puck. It could look like a tank or some guy kicking a ball down a soccer field or anything like that. So I think that part's pretty cool in the sense of it's getting them off the computer and actually getting them to practice coloring in the lines and things like that. But essentially, the heart of this CamiBot is to teach kids what programming is all about. And I think it does it in the most basic type, right? It has codes there already, and you just drag and drop them onto the different parts of the robot. So it's teaching kids not necessarily the actual typing out and the programming language, but kind of what programming is and what it can do. And then you unplug it and see exactly what you created, plug it back into your computer, and then reprogram it to do something that differently. So there's a video on their Kickstarter of the CamiBot plugged into the computer, and then they're going to program it to follow lines with the IR sensors and whatnot. So what do you think?
It's cool. I think it's very cool that we're starting to get to a point where there's a shift from, rather than buying a toy that just does something, you're actually making the toy do things.
Right. And what I love about this product is it's cross-platform. It's a new thing. And so what you can do is you can program it on your laptop, right?
Mhm.
Plug the CommiBot into the laptop, send the code over to the CommiBot, unplug it, and then go to your smartphone to control it.
Mhm.
So it's teaching kids different platforms and how they can work together to control an object or anything like that. And hopefully if it piques your kids' interest, because we know coding's going to be around for a while. I mean, that's the industry you should look into if you're looking to go.
Yeah,
Don't
maybe,
you think?
Maybe not in America.
All right. Well, toys like this will keep it in America.
Hopefully.
Um,
Except this is in Korea.
They tried it in Korea. They're bringing it to America now. So, geez, don't be a Debbie
I wonder
Downer.
if America would be into this.
You don't think so?
I always gotta wonder.
I think so.
Oh, Japan. Or didn't they say Korea?
That's where their test market was.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. It's very cool, and I
Don't you think this would be a nice, cheap way to get coding and robotics into schools?
yeah,
I guess I haven't told you the price yet,
yeah,
which would kind of maybe lead you to one.
yeah.
way or
I mean, I
another.
think for schools and stuff, it would be great, but for like a home thing, I don't know. I don't know.
I think it
if-
would be great. I think for people who parents who don't understand computers but want their kids to understand computers, I think this is the perfect solution
yeah,
because it's easy enough where the parent doesn't really have to understand what coding is or how it works, right?
mhm.
They can just say, "Here's a laptop, here's a program, go figure it out."
It's better than playing a video game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a high-tech coding video game. Okay?
Yeah.
You ready for the price?
Let's do price.
Which will probably back you out of it. But anyways, here we go. So at the taping of this podcast, they have 140 backers. Their goal is 50,000. It's kind of a long stretch. They got 24 days to go, and they're at $16,000. So if you give them $1, they say thank you. But
There's always that dollar.
there's always $1. To get your own CommiBot at the time of our recording, you have to get in at the $89 level.
Ooh.
So they had a $79 level, but that one was gone. And so which is $10 off the retail price once it hits the market of $99. So I'll ask you to get in at the early bird CommiBot special of $89. So Matt, are you going to back the CommiBot or are you going to not?
This is a hard one.
$89. Think of the joy that kids could get coding and could get more interested in coding. To see something that you do on your computer translate to a little robot. Then to go to a computer and print out new skins that they could add to. They can make it a robot one day. Then they can make it a shooter the other day. Then they can make it a princess one day.
Yeah, see this one's so difficult though, because this would be something I would back basically not at all for the actual thing I would get. Right? But I'm backing it for the bigger idea of the
Right.
product itself.
Exactly. Bam, 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 bam. We got a little time issue here. Keep going.
You know what? Sure.
All right. And for me, it was a 100% yes. And I actually think I may back the project. I think I may get it for my 7-year-old.
Yeah, you have kids who would
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
So fellas, baby got back. Baby got back.
I'm very scared to play this game after last week.
So by a vote of 2-0, Matt and I decided to back it. Way to go. We agreed.
I bet.
I think
Greg
it's a
would've
cool
said
thing.
no.
I think products like this are a lot better for kids than playing shoot 'em up video games and things like that.
You sound very old when you
I
call
know.
them shoot 'em up video games.
What are you supposed to call them?
I don't know, but that's
Exactly.
what my grandma calls them.
Well, your grandma's a very smart person. All right. Well, we're off to a great show. I mean, we had a great discussion on Apple. We gave you some news. We both agreed on Baby's Got Back. It's a good show.
You know who's not having a great show? My-
Apple.
My iPad has gone down 28% in my
Wow.
battery since this show started.
Good job. You need a new iPad, is what it is. All right, so let's move on to a little pricing game.
I wanna be a billionaire so freaking bad. Buy all of the things I never had.
All right, so I thought Greg was going to be here, but I guess it's you again. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 products that I have for you. And essentially, all you have to do is tell me the price of the object. And I'll give it to you within $1,000 of each price.
Okay.
Either $1,000 lower or $1,000 higher, and you'll get it.
Okay. That sounds easy.
So that's what you think. So these are, I searched the internet, scoured the internet for ridiculously expensive tech items.
Oh, cool.
And so I'm going to give you the title and a brief description of them, and then you give me the price within $1,000 of that product.
Okay.
So remember the theme song.
I wanna be a billionaire so freaking bad.
So that's where it all gets you. All
Okay.
right. All right. So you ready for number one?
I am.
Number one is called the RJX Super Mario Brother Watch. Okay.
Yes.
So if you like video games, this is not one of them. If you like smartwatches, this is not one of them. It's a luxury watch made by the luxury watchmaker Romain Jerome. He's making 85 of these because the game of Super Mario came out in 1985. I guess I should show a picture of it. That may be better. Then you may have a shot at these. Maybe?
Hopefully.
All right. So let me show you a picture of this watch. I can't scroll down too much because it'll
see.
give you the price.
Yeah.
But here's the watch. So essentially the back of the face is a Super Mario scene
Yes.
with the mushroom and things like that. They don't move.
Okay.
They're just there.
Okay.
But it's the maker, what's his name? Romain Jerome, that makes it, and he's a luxury watch maker, and he's only making 85 of these
I don't even know who that is.
because we're not rich.
Um.
So Matt, within $1,000, how much is this watch?
$16,000.
You're close. Very close. That's a long one. $18,950 for a watch. Not a smart watch.
Just a regular. old
Doesn't have
watch.
any apps on it.
It doesn't even move.
It's classic. It does stuff.
Tells-
All right.
Tells me the time.
Here we go. Number two. It's a camera.
Oh, is this a Leica?
It's a Leica
Okay.
monochrome Type 246. It's a niche digital. Has a niche digital rangefinder camera.
Yes.
Isn't for everyone.
Yes.
Has ISO, full ISO 25,000, and a sapphire glass covered LCD on the back. Matt, for the body only, not the lens, within $1,000, what's the price? Within $1,000, just the body.
$22,000.
You overshot that.
Oh, no.
$7,450.
I knew it was lower.
$7,450. All right. Well, you got a few more for pride. All right. Here we
Oh,
go.
What the hell?
Here's
is this?
the Virtue Aster Stingray phone. Okay.
Is that leather?
It is an Android
Yeah.
device, Qualcomm Snapdragon 2.3 gigahertz, 801 quad core processor, 4.7-inch sapphire crystal screen, 64 gigs of storage, 13 megapixel camera, works on GSM, 3G, LTE, 4G, and has built-in, get this, Dolby Digital sound. It comes in different colors. That is leather you're looking at. Comes in 3 distinct leather colors. You got pure black Stingray, blue Stingray, or the one Matt's looking at, and probably his favorite, the pink Stingray. Each limited, each of them, to 280 pieces. So in each color, there's only 280, which makes it unique, I guess. So for the Virtue Aster Stingray, I'll give it to you within 2,000. How about that?
1,800.
Get this, $9,344.
That's very expensive for a
In
cell phone.
2014, they released a previous version at $10,800. So it's coming down slowly. Very, very slowly. All right. Matt's off to a great start.
Oh, shit.
Here's question number 4. You're looking at a Panasonic touchpad 4K performance screen. So it's a 4K display, 20 inches, and it's a tablet.
Okay.
Okay.
3,000.
It's rugged. I was going to read you some more options.
Oh, okay.
It's rugged. It's a lightweight tablet. It's all in one. It runs desktop PC running Windows, and it's out. Never mind. Finally, it's an overpriced device you can't break. So apparently, you can't break this.
3,000.
No. $6,999. Because it. I didn't include this. The stylus you see there and the cradle that it's on is not included.
Oh.
Yeah. Not that would have helped change your mind.
I don't think I could afford anything else after I just bought the tablet.
All right. Now it's just for pride. Here we go. The thing you're looking at now is a speaker. It's called the Boyer and Wilkins 800 series diamond speakers. They sound that looks great in the Ethos and B&W Diamond series through the ages. It's housed in solid aluminum and a continuum cone for amazing mid-range sound, and is so high-end you need to track down retailers to find it. The unit weighs 208 pounds.
Oh, okay.
Either comes in gloss black or rose nut cabinet finish. For the pair of those that you see, I'll give it to you within $4,000.
$12,000.
No. $22,000 for that pair of speakers.
Oh boy.
I thought you had expensive taste. Apparently you do not. Here we go.
Here we go.
Something close to your wheelhouse.
Yes.
The Apple Watch Edition.
Yes.
The quintessential overpriced tech status symbol.
Okay.
All right.
Mhm.
This is an 18-karat rose gold Apple Watch. Watch face of 135 to 150 millimeters.
Mhm.
And then they have the 800 millimeters if you want.
Mhm.
Throw an Apple Care for that. So that's an added $1,500.
Apple Care on this is $1,500.
$1,500 for this rose gold one. The band is basic rose gray modern.
Yes.
So you should probably upgrade to an extra $1,250 for the tour leather band that you see there. So adding the $1,500 Apple Care, the $1,250 leather band that you see there, this 18-karat rose gold Apple Edition watch will set you back within $4,000.
$18,000.
I didn't even need to give you the $4,000. $17,000 for a rose gold Apple Watch. Do you have one of those?
It's in the mail.
Oh, good. Has it been in the mail for a while?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, here we go.
Oh, this is cool.
The last most expensively ridiculous product on the list. This is called the Hammaker's Schelmer's, quote, most realistic racing simulator. It weighs in at 2,100 pounds and can hold a driver that weighs up to 300 pounds. So I could fit in it. And an important factor, since it tosses a seat belted user around because it's a simulator,
Mhm.
and it turns and G-forces of high-speed drive. Simulator is a lot faster than driving at 200 miles per hour, I guess, on the track is what it says. But the setup does include multiple monitors with 800 inches of coverage to fully immerse the driver. So it comes with those 3 monitors there. It's a giant racer that weighs in at 2,100 pounds. Within $10,000, I'll give this to you.
35.
Within $100,000, I'll give it to you.
100.
$185,000.
That's a house.
That's a little game I like to call Guess the Price.
I wanna be a billionaire so freaking bad. Buy all of the things I never had.
I told you to remember the title of the game.
That's $180,000.
$185,000.
What have they sold? Like one?
Probably, or maybe 2. I'm sure Tim Cook has one. Just say.
What's trending?
All right, time to move into this week's What's Trending. Matt, do you know the show John Oliver?
I do.
Do you know a little restaurant that people love going to called Chipotle?
I do.
Or Chipotle, however you want to pronounce it. This week, the good old John Oliver took a stab at Chipotle. And to all the people that love Chipotle, take a listen, because I wholeheartedly agree with the one and only John Oliver.
Let's turn to another major American institution, Chipotle. America's preferred over-the-counter laxative. It has been a rough few months for the let's go ahead and call it Mexican fast food chain. Since last July, they've experienced 6 food safety failures involving norovirus, salmonella, and E. coli. And as of December, they face a federal criminal investigation as well. So on Monday, they took drastic action.
Chipotle temporarily closed all 2,000 of its stores for 4 hours today to hold a scheduled company-wide employee meeting on the topic of food safety.
Closed stores. Well, that is bad news for Chipotle, but on the bright side, it's the best day Subway has had since Jared went to prison. but I will say, it may take more than a few hours to fix some of the systemic problems Chipotle seems to have with its restaurants, especially when you consider reports like this one from a news station in Florida.
In January, inspectors walked into Chipotle on Cortez Road West in Bradenton and saw a live wild bird flying around the restaurant, with open food at the front line exposed to possible contamination. According to the inspection report, the manager says he was aware of that wild bird and it's a regular nuisance.
Oh, yeah, I know that bird. He bought a soda like a year ago and he just keeps filling it up. That bird's a dick. You're a dick, Keith. You're a dick. But I'm absolutely sure the manager of that bird-infested Chipotle made sure that it could never, ever happen again.
Animal control was called to remove the bird, but when inspectors returned the next day, live bird still there.
Live bird still there is the second lowest grade you can actually get from a health inspection. The lowest one, of course, being a Fieri. But to go by customers' reactions to Chipotle store closings on Monday, they may not have too much to worry about.
I'm disappointed. I mean, I understand they need to take safety precautions, but I love Chipotle.
Will it deter you from eating at Chipotle?
No, it won't. No.
Love those burrito bowls too much?
Exactly.
It's just so good. It is just so tasty. So it's my dirty little secret. I love Chipotle.
So hold on. They know it's bad and they want it even more. Chipotle is now officially America's emotionally abusive boyfriend. It seems Chipotle have us in the palm of their hands, and judging from their latest commercial, they know it.
Listen, we know that here at Chipotle, we've had a bad few months. Not only did we make people sick with E. coli, norovirus, and salmonella, we're also under criminal investigation by the federal government. But don't worry. We took a full half day off on Monday to regroup, and now we're ready to welcome you back with open arms.
Welcome to Chipotle. Thank you for your bravery.
Sure, Chipotle's hit rock bottom, but all that means is that we're ready to bounce back. I mean, let's face it, if you're even contemplating eating here after an E. coli scare, what would it take to stop you? Learning the one time we accidentally put penguin meat in our barbacoa? Or the 3 months ago we couldn't find the lettuce, so we just used that Easter basket for 5 full days? Or that we thaw our meat by having a large man named Mitchell breathe on it. Or that there are a number of wild birds that just come in and eat for free every day. Birds who, in our defense, are only there to deal with our massive bowl problem. Or that our head chef is an actual 6-foot cockroach. I'm still pretty sure you'd come back. And you know why? Because if Chipotle could persuade America that 1,000-calorie burritos are healthy, and we actually did that, well, then we can do anything we damn well please. Chipotle. What are you going to do? Go to Taco Bell? I don't think so.
Good old Chipotle.
What's trending?
What'd you think? Are you a Chipotle fan?
I'm a Qdoba fan.
Qdoba. Why do so many people like Chipotle? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not terrible, but
they're definitely not fresh anymore like they said. Wasn't that the big draw to Chipotle, was their fresh ingredients and their fight against Taco Bell for being delicious. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand this whole craze about Chipotle. I've had it once and it was like, well,
I don't think it's worth getting food poisoning.
Multiple times. All right, let's jump into the last segment of the night. Our rants and raves. You want to go first, or you want me to tackle this one first?
I'll go second.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm going to guess yours is a rant.
I think so.
Okay, he hasn't thought of it yet, but don't worry. He will. Oh, boy, what was that? So, my rant or rave this week is a rave. Matt, do you watch NASCAR at all?
It was on today at brunch.
Oh, okay.
That was the extent of it.
It's very classy of you with your, what, $18,000 Apple Watch?
Yes.
So today was a big kickoff to the NASCAR season with the Daytona 500. And I watched most of it. I had to leave right when it was getting good, but whatever. I mean, who wants to watch the whole race anyways, right? So my rave is for Fox. I want to tell Fox that their production looks amazing. I enjoy all the different angles they have. I have no idea how many cameras they use. I have no idea how the director keeps it all in check, but they got like in-camera or in-car cameras. They got in-the-track cameras. Then they have helicopter cameras. They got blimp cameras. And then they got all the regular cameras to watch the cars go around. Then they have graphic trackers that track everyone. Let me just say, it's a well-done production. It's flipping fantastic. One thing, though, Fox, I wish you had, which I won't bring it down to a rant, but I wish you would live stream it on your app, on your Apple TV app. For like big events like this, I think it's time the TV industry wake up and say, all right, we got another market to take care of with cord cutters, and I think big events like this is a great way to do that. But all in all, NASCAR, I like you.
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway.
And Fox, your broadcast is fantastic. So there you go.
How long is the Daytona 500?
Well, it started at 10:30. Well, that's when the race started.
Yeah.
And I think it had ended around 2:30. They had a bunch of pre-covers, though, and then they had some posts. But
yeah,
so there you go.
Huh.
That's my rave. Fox, nice work. Just add live coverage to your Fox Now app on the Apple TV, please. But that was it. I have over the air, so I was able to watch it live. I'll pass it to you, Matt.
I had a really good one.
Okay. And then you forgot it?
I forgot it.
You got to write it down, my friend. You're getting older.
I have to start taking notes.
You're getting older.
I bet it was something with Siri.
Okay. And I bet it was a rant.
I bet it was a rant.
Probably how Siri doesn't work.
There
you go. See? Glad I can help.
Siri. Okay, I remember it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
When you're watching Netflix and you say
On
to
what?
Siri.
On Apple TV?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you say to Siri, skip this episode. I'd like Siri to be able to skip that episode.
Siri doesn't do a lot of things on the Apple TV I'd like it to do.
Because having to back out of the episode, go into the episode list, pick the next episode, and then play it is ridiculous.
It's true.
Or
oh, there's an or.
Netflix in that little holder, the little 20 seconds or whatever between episodes.
Right.
Give me the option of skipping the next episode.
It doesn't?
No.
On every other device, it does that. On the Roku, it didn't.
It lets you skip it?
Oh, well, I mean, after it was done.
Well, when the episode's done, it counts you down to the next
Right.
one.
That's what I'm telling you.
It lets you back out. But it won't.
No, it lets you jump to the next episode.
No, it will. It'll autoplay into the next one.
Right.
But I want a button that says skip the next one.
Oh.
So the one that's about to play.
Oh, I got it.
Maybe I don't want to watch that one.
Okay.
I don't want to have to stop, get out of it.
I think you're the only person with that problem.
I highly doubt I'm the only person.
I think you are. My bigger issue, if I were to jump onto your rant, is that Siri sucks in general on the Apple
Well, that's
TV.
rude.
I have no idea what the hell Siri is used for. When
Movies.
I first got the Apple TV, I clicked Siri and I was like, download Netflix. I don't know what you're talking about. It can't do anything.
You say like shows and movies and stuff.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, but that's all it's used for. Oh, that's all it can do.
I think that's a big thing.
I don't think that's a big thing.
I think it's a time saver. To sit down,
nope.
To say a movie, and it
dumb.
pulls it up.
All right. Well, you continue going on your Apple bandwagon. That's all I'm saying.
It's a secure bandwagon.
That's right. All right. You want to take us out?
Am I reading this? I guess I'm reading this. And with that, we close the book on another episode of the Bandwidth Boys podcast. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
If you missed us live, don't worry. You can download and listen to our podcast by using iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app. If you subscribe, you'll also get our daily tech updates, Bandwidth Boys Quick Hits.
Bandwidth Boys Podcast. Facebook, Bandwidth Boys Podcast. Twitter, @GMK Podcast. Web, bandwidthboys.com. Bandwidth Boys Podcast.
And with that, I'm Matt.
And I'm Connolly.
We'll talk to you next time. Same place, same time, same old shenanigans right here on the Bandwidth Boys podcast. Keep on teching on.
We'll see you next week, Greg.
Hopefully.